Are the Padres getting trade interest in Trent Grisham? It sure seems like that. According to Dennis Lin in The Athletic, he just wrote a report on the Padres reacquiring, not just acquiring, but reacquiring Enyel De Los Santos from the Cleveland Guardians. They obviously had him in their organization for a couple years in the minor leagues before they dealt him in the Freddie Galvis trade. They got Freddie from the Philadelphia Phillies years and years ago. So later in this article, Dennis Lin writes, a team source said the Padres did not consider non-tendering Trent Grisham. For anyone that didn't know, yesterday, 5 p.m. was the non-tender deadline. Did not consider non-tendering Trent Grisham, in part because the center fielder already has drawn trade interest this offseason. Grisham, who is coming off his consecutive sub 200 seasons on offense, could be due about $5 million in his second season of arbitration. The 27-year-old has retained some value through strong offense, and the free agent market for outfielders is relatively thin. While finding a taker for Grisham could be among the Padres' primary tasks ahead of the winter meetings in early December, the team intends to hire a new manager next week. Process temporarily halted, as we know, following the death of Padres chairman Peter Seidler on Tuesday. New Padres chairman Eric Kutsenda, interim control person. Hopefully, he will speak this coming week before Thanksgiving when the Padres hire their manager. Eric Grutner hopefully will speak, and we'll get a better sense of what's happening here. But getting to Trent Grisham, I'm not surprised that Trent Grisham is getting trade interest here. Yeah, the free agent market for center fielders, it's not very strong. And you could point to, well, Ben, Cody Bellinger. But even with Cody Bellinger, there's question marks. You know, is he going to be the 2023 Cody Bellinger for most of that next contract that he gets? How long does he want? It wasn't that long of a time ago where with the Dodgers, he was really struggling offensively. And he turned it around, and Scott Boras is going to say, well, it's because, he was hurt and he was playing through injuries. He had the shoulder surgery. He just wasn't right, and now he's right. Well, it's a convenient time to now be healthy and be right. That could very well be the case. But I think there's question marks with him. And I think he's going to have a limited market. With the center field position, I feel like there's a lot of teams that they just go in there 1 or 2 year deals with center fielders, corner guys. Maybe that's where you're seeing the long term deals happen. Bryce Harper, I know he's at first base, but you look at him. Castellanos, now he's moved to the outfield. That was a multi-year deal, a little bit longer of a deal. George Springer was a little bit longer of a deal with the Blue Jays. He's at center field, but he can play the corners. You just don't see a ton, at least in my opinion, you don't see a ton of center fielders on long-term deals. Usually you get them for that rookie deal, and then you see what happens. Trout, obviously, on a long-term deal, that's obviously different. But yeah, right. You go past Cody Bellinger, you look at the free agent market. Kevin Kiermaier, Harrison Bader, Michael Taylor, Tony Kemp, Kevin Pillar, Nick Senzel, I think, was non-tendered yesterday by the Reds. There's Jackie Bradley Jr., there's Aaron Hicks, there's Jake Marisnick, guys like that. But it's not like offense first, offense strong center fielders. It's defense. Now, the Padres, they're trying to trim payroll. I definitely see them trying to trade Trent Grisham. I just don't know where all of the trade fits are for Trent Grisham. The Padres, if they want to trade Grish and they want to bring in a center fielder, what they could do is have Tatis move to center field and they bring in a better outfield bat on one of the corners. That would probably be easier to do in terms of getting offense from that outfielder that they're bringing in. But Tatis, he just won a gold glove in right field. He just won a platinum glove in right field. I think he's good in right field. He wanted to play center field, but I believe during the season, he made comments to someone in the media about how now he wants to stay in right field right now. So do the Padres want to listen to that? I probably would. I would probably listen to Fernando. It's not like he sucked last year in right field. And I think full off season, he can only get better. You already went through this whole position change with him. Don't change the position again. If you want to trade Grish, okay. Maybe you can get back a starting pitcher in that. I struggle to find, and I'll do some more research on this, but I struggle to find like the fit for Trent Grisham in terms of like both sides wanting, okay, one side they want Trent Grisham, and then the Padres they get back what they want in a deal. But according to Dennis Lin here, Padres already getting trade attention. Trent Grisham drawing trade attention this offseason. He's good defensively, and there is the power potential. So I understand why teams are checking in and they might be interested in him. But I wonder what teams those are. Let me know in the comments. What teams do you think could be interested here in Trent Grisham? If the Padres deal Trent, Kevin Kiermaier probably will make more than $5 million. So I don't think that they would get him. Harrison Bader, probably the same thing. Michael A. Taylor, I think he can make a little bit more than Trent Grisham. So do they go the Kevin Pillar route? Are they comfortable with having Kevin Pillar be the everyday center fielder? He's defensive first, right? But fans know the name for sure. With the Atlanta Braves, he was not starting every day, I don't believe. And last year, his salary was $3 million. So that's less than Grish. Is he going to want a little more than that? Is he okay with around that same? If they go get Kevin Pillar, put him in center field, then you're going to be saving a couple $1,000,000, at least in that move. But you still want to go get starting pitching. You still want to get more depth on the bench. You want more bats. Are you really going to be saving the money? Or are you just going to be reallocating that $2 million to somewhere else? You know, Grish, he's still under control, I believe, for a couple more seasons. I think he's in his entering his second year of arbitration. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Trent Grisham. It feels like the Padres have been trying to trade him for a couple off seasons here, and they haven't been able to find like the perfect deal. They might not be able to get the perfect deal. So if they want to deal him, then deal him. Maybe they want to wait. Can they trade him when he has a little bit higher value? But if they wait, that's lesser years that team's going to have control of Trent Grisham. And he might just hit 200 again in 2024. And again, like that's less years of control, so that's less value. So yeah, I'm going to be interested in seeing what they do there. I think Tatis stays right. I think that's what should happen. But what do they do there? They're comfortable with Jose Azocar being the everyday center fielder? Or is it a trade that I'm just not even thinking about right now? Do they bring in a free agent outfielder? If they do, I would think that guy is going to be a little bit cheaper than Trent Grisham. So what are we looking at? We're looking at Tony Kemp. We're looking at Kevin Pillar, Nick Senzel, Jackie Bradley Jr., Aaron Hicks, maybe. Jake Marisnick. Like some of these guys, those are not guys you want starting every day in center field. So the Padres, they might just, see who's interested. They don't get the deal that they want. Well, all right, we'll just go with Grish again, and hopefully he can hit some bombs for us every once in a while. And some guys at the top of the order can do their jobs better. And Grish not performing that great offensively won't be as big of a deal. I think it was a big deal this year because those guys at the top definitely weren't performing up to the level of expectation, most of those guys. And so, you're looking around at other spots in the lineup as well. It's like, well, what if that guy was doing a little bit better? What if that guy was doing a little bit better? And, we're playing the blame game. I'm not saying it's okay for Trent to hit 200. I'm just saying, did we have as much of a problem with Trent hitting like 200 in 2022 when we were in the postseason? Getting to the postseason, we had a little bit better offense. Were we having as big of a problem with it? At least I don't remember us having as big of a problem with it. But I'm sure some people in the comments will have a problem with Grish. But let me know your thoughts on Trent. Padres, they're getting attention. Grish is getting attention. Padres getting interest from some teams here. They didn't even think about non-tendering Trent Grisham, according to Dennis Lin in The Athletic.